Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of the Grimdark Breakdown. Today, we're going to talk about starting an Adepta Sororitas army, or you may have heard them called the Sisters of Battle or Battle Sisters. So, if you're wanting to start an army, here's my first suggestion. You need to buy their core iconic unit, paint it, and make sure that you really enjoy building, painting, converting, modeling that unit. Now, if you're just going to be a super competitive player and you're just doing it for the stats and you're just playing the army, that's a whole separate conversation. But if you are picking up the army and you are going to be a well-rounded 40K player, you're going to be doing the hobby aspect, the painting aspect, the collecting aspect, and then obviously playing. But as somebody who's done this for a long time, that model is going to spend more time on a display shelf or in a cabinet than it will ever spend on the tabletop. So that being said, you got to make sure you like the way they look and you got to make sure you enjoy it. In my personal opinion, I think Sisters are the prettiest and coolest looking army that GW has out. They have some singular models that are great, but as a range, Sisters take the cake. I mean, they are the ladies, so they are the belle of the ball. So that being said, if you're going to start, I strongly recommend starting with a box of Battle Sisters. You can get them secondhand, super easy. They've been around a long time. You can buy them from resellers. You can buy them from Games Workshop. There's a ton of different places, but you're going to, whether you use them as Battle Sisters or Dominions, because they can do either or. They're great at holding objectives. They generate miracle dice. I have never ran a Sisters of Battle list that didn't have at least one squad of Battle Sisters or Dominions. A lot of the time you'll have two, sometimes three. And so they're great to add in and you'll never regret having them in your list. Now, once you pick up that first set of Battle Sisters and you go, I'm in, I love it, I'm hooked. I actually think our current combat patrol is not a bad combat patrol at all. I could 100% see you buying two of them. Here's why. So you have got one set of Battle Sisters. When you buy your combat patrol, you're going to get a second set of Battle Sisters. It's going to have 10 units. And within that 10 units, what you can then do is now you either have two squads of Battle Sisters, two squads of Dominion. So it really gives you some flexibility. It also comes with 5 Sacresants. Sacresants are great. Now, the reason that 2 boxes works is because you normally are going to run Sacresants in groups of 10. So when you buy 2 boxes, you would have 10 of them. And having another 10 Battle Sisters is not a bad deal. You won't find any Sisters of Battle player that doesn't have 30 Sisters of Battle, whether they're using them as Dominions or Sisters. Either one works, and they are kind of the core of our army, if you will. The other piece that comes in it is Arcos. Now, Arcos are not everybody's taste. They are, very steampunky, but they're also very gothic horror in the sense that they don't have arms. They have these like tentacle whips. But in game, you will use Arcos in 2 different ways. So one, a lot of the time you'll use them as a little 3-man unit. For 45 points, you run them out there and they're action monkeys. You use them to tie up vehicles, they do stuff, they're great, and they're harder than you think to kill. In a 10-man unit, which is what you would get in this box, they are a blender. They have 60 attacks, and in like Hollowed Martyrs, you can give them rerolls of hits, or Champions of Faith, you can give them lethals. Like they are scary in their own right. And for a new player in particular, they're just so much fun. Rolling 60 dice, having that many dice is fun. And I promise you the other player's going to be like, they have how many attacks? So last they come with a Canoness in the box, which again, I've run lists with as many as 3 Canoness and as few as 1. Canoness are great. You could use it as a Canoness. You could use it as a Palatine. So you could use it as a couple of different models. So it's our Combat Patrol is a solid box right now. Our old one, if you can find our old one that came with a Rhino, it's even better. If they have it at one of your local stores or anything like that. Our old Combat Patrol was incredible. It had 10 Battle Sisters. It had Seraphim in it. It had 3 Arcos, Rhino, and a Penitent Engine. Our old Combat Patrol was a buy 3 of them and you have the great foundation to an army. It also had Repentia. It was just a stacked box. But our new one, like almost all of the Combat Patrols in 10th edition, did take a little bit of a hit, but it's not bad. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. So That being said, there are a couple of other box sets out there before we kind of keep going that you will see. Last year, we did have, when we got our Codex, we had a couple of box sets come out. So you'll find an Army of Faith box set floating around there sometimes. It's got a bunch of our flying units as well as an Exorcist. I actually think it's a good box set if you can get it for under about $200. It gives you a lot of our fast-moving infantry and our artillery units, so not a bad box set at all. That first one is called the Army of Faith box set. So I'll have a picture for you guys, but it's a good box set. The other one is the Penitent Crusader host. The time of recording, there's multiple of them on eBay for right about $200. It's a decent deal. You're going to get some Repentia, you're going to get some Arcos, 2 Penitent engines and 2 Rhinos. So it's not a bad deal. Our Rhino by itself is $60. So the 2 Rhinos by themselves are going to be $120. And if you were to buy just those 2 Penitent engines in addition, that's $200 right there. So you're basically getting the other stuff for free. And well, I'm using Games Workshop math, free, but those are all good box sets you can get. Now, if you don't want to have to eBay it and you do any of that kind of stuff, I'd stick with my standard. Buy a set of Battle Sisters. Then after you get a set of Battle Sisters, get our Combat Patrol. Once you've got that, you can start playing Combat Patrol with your friends and you have kind of the core of what you want. The next thing that you're going to do, because your Canoness would be your Warlord at that point, you want to get a centerpiece model and you need to get the hammer of our army, which means you're getting our bestest lady, Morvenn Vahl, and her Paragon Warsuits. I would strongly recommend getting them next. They will kill anything you point them at. And it also teaches you about how to start using our best unit from the beginning. Because if you're going to play Sisters, probably 95% of the time, you're running Morvenn Vahl and her Warsuits. So it gets you into how they work, how they function on the table, and really teaches you how to be a better player by utilizing them. So now at this point, you should have, if you've gotten a box of Battle Sisters to start, you've got 1 to 2 of our Combat Patrols, and you've got Morgan in her unit. You got about 400 points with Morgan in her unit. If you've got a Combat Patrol, you got 200 points of Battle Sisters, so you got 600 points there. Your Arcos takes you to 750, and an S takes you to 8. Then you've got the Sacresants. So you're sitting at just shy of about 1,000 points. So you can actually start playing 1,000-point games there. If you have 2 Combat Patrols, you actually have some utility. You can move some stuff around and start playing some 1,000-point games. After you get out of Combat Patrol, which don't get turned off, Combat Patrol is not balanced for 40K. 1,000 points you can balance for game balance. A lot more fun. So once you've done that, now you can start thinking about picking up some additional characters or some additional models. So you've been playing, if you like the Sacresants, you like that melee approach, get you another box of Sacresants so that you can start running 20 Sacresants. That's really good. If you want a character to make them a little tougher, you could go ahead and get you a Hospitaller. She reses them, or a Palatine even. Palatines can be a great one. And I've got individual videos on all this if you check out my shorts for most of these characters. But what I would probably recommend next is you've got about 1,000 to 1,200 points of infantry. You've got some pieces. To me, at this point, you need some firepower. So our Cassie, or is known the Castigator, is awesome. It is a great battle tank. It is wonderful. It's 160 points in game. A lot of people will run 3 of them. So it's a great vehicle. It's a really pretty tank. So it's fun to build. It's fun to paint. It's really, really solid. And I think that can kind of help flush out your army. By the time you get there, you've got about 1,500 points. So you're really going to be looking at characters to potentially add in. I really like Juna Thorentia, and I think she can be a really good character. And at that point, you're really just figuring out for those last 200-300 points, what style best fits you and what you like the most. And really, you can't go wrong. We don't really have any ugly models except for the Dogmata. And so you can pick your poison, and there's a lot of really cool and good looking models in our army, and most of them function pretty well. So I think that you could have a lot of fun any way you want to go. So that being said, this is kind of a basic, very starter-friendly guide of how you can get to 1,000 points and start pushing beyond that 1,000 points if you're wanting to get a Sisters Army started. If you got any questions, drop a comment down below and I'd be happy to answer. Drop a like for the Emperor and let me know what unit you'd like to see Judgment next.